Hello, YouTubers, and welcome to Level-Headed News. This is your host, Brenda. I have 3 articles for you in this episode. The URLs are listed in the description of the video for your convenience. The first one here is off of disobedientmedia.com, and it says UK Parliament authorizes Theresa May to trigger Article 50. MPs in Parliament have voted 498 to 114 to authorize Prime Minister Theresa May to trigger Article 50 and begin the United Kingdom's withdrawal from the European Union. The vote officiates the result of the June 23, 2016 Brexit referendum, where the majority of UK citizens indicated a desire to leave the EU. An amendment introduced by the Scottish National Party, or the SNP, which called on the government to consult the devolved powers on Brexit and calls on her to set out her objectives for the negotiation. The vote authorizes Theresa May to begin the withdrawal process, which she has indicated she will do by the end of March 2017. The BBC reports that the talks with the EU are expected to last for up to 2 years and that the UK will have officially left the EU by 2019. The article that I have for you is off of Disobedient Media, and it says The Art of the New Deal, How Trump is Using Mexican Company CEMEX to Build the Wall and Profit Both Countries. The press has been ablaze with reports that Mexico is stonewalling against Trump's demands that they pay, in one form or another, for the wall. Some speculate that the wall will not be built at all, but research by Disobedient Media indicates that not only will the wall be built, but that it has a strong support among certain Mexican business interests, such as cement producer CEMEX, actively lobbying to ensure that Trump and his allies take office and begin construction. This is CEMEX is best positioned to benefit from the wall and does not have a major competitor in the United States. According to information published by the Global Cement Directory, CEMEX is the largest producer of cement in North America and does not have any American competitors of equal size. It has been described in diplomatic cable released by WikiLeaks as being one of Mexico's monopolists, with a market share of 87.6%. Data collected using the installed capacity of companies' integrated cement plants shows that the U.S. does not even break the top 10 list of cement producers globally. CEMEX, however, ranks 5th, far ahead of the only Western competitor in Brazil. Of them here, the first is in Switzerland, the second is in China, third's in China, fourth's in Germany, fifth's in Mexico, that's CEMEX. Sixth is in Italy. The seventh one's in China. The eighth is in Taiwan. The ninth is in Russia, and the 10th in Brazil. The article continues, and it says, CEMEX is a major producer with plants and operations in over 50 countries worldwide. It has acquired a number of assets in the United States with quarries on both sides of the U.S.-Mexico border. It is positioned better than any other firm to act as the main supplier of raw materials for Trump's wall. The map below shows the location of quarries belonging to CEMEX and other corporations on the border. And the map is enclosed here if you want to see that. The article continues and says the logistical and economic nightmare of having to move cement further than 200 miles means that CEMEX is ideally positioned to be the primary supplier for Trump's wall. Additionally, contracting with dozens of American companies provide cement would greatly complicate the building process. Trump, a man who prides himself on completing projects under budget and ahead of schedule, is unlikely to shun CEMEX when seeking materials. While Trump has made the creation of American jobs the central selling point of his presidency, he has also stated that the wall will help Mexico. In the case of CEMEX, it becomes clear how the wall will, at least in part, help Mexico, no matter which country pays for it. It will return to Mexican firms who help the United States with construction. Contracting with CEMEX for the concrete used to build the wall is a win-win situation for both CEMEX and Trump. CEMEX employs thousands of Americans in their U.S. operations. By contracting with CEMEX, Trump is able to deliver on his promise not just to benefit Mexico financially, but also help ensure that American jobs are retained and possibly more created by CEMEX as it ramps up operations to meet American textile demands for the wall. How CEMEX and Trump mutually benefit from the wall. Donald Trump's presidential victory signals a new direction in the relationship between the United States and Mexico. Beyond the wall, both states stand to fare well from Trump's plans to overhaul the U.S. economy and renegotiate America's trade deal. Financial sources are already beginning to speculate that Mexico could help the United States return a greater percentage of its trade deficit to North America. At the moment, over 90% of America's trade deficit is held by countries outside the continent. At the same time, companies such as CEMEX will benefit from the weakening peso, which has dropped since Trump's election. The dropping peso has been held out by some as a sign that Trump's presidency is having a negative effect on Mexico. However, the weakened currency actually makes by companies such as CEMEX more attractive to foreign buyers. Not only will the weak peso make better deal for Trump and the United States, but it also gives added assurance to CEMEX that their concrete will be used to build the wall. The payout, estimated to be over $700 million for concrete and $240 million for cement, would be greatly welcomed by CEMEX in the aftermath of their first reported quarterly profit in over 7 years, as they ride in a surge in companies' valuation on the stock market. CEMEX is one of many building material companies who have seen major rise in the aftermath of Trump's reiteration of his desire to build the wall. Beyond operations on the border, the wall's construction would be a signal of general increase in infrastructure investment. CEMEX provided political support for Trump's allies. In what appears to be a political game of deal-making, a CEMEX-affiliated PAC run by Executive Vice President Frank Craddock was found to have engaged in a campaign of support for political candidates who were most likely to help ensure that the wall would become a reality. Information compiled by the Center for Responsive Politics from data provided by the Federal Election Commission shows that CEMEX Incorporated Employee Political Action Committee donated more than 80% of its funds during the 2016 cycle to Republican candidates. The majority of Republican recipients listed as having received donations from CEMEX have either expressed political support for Donald Trump or for the policy of building a security wall on the border with Mexico. This revelation clearly indicates that CEMEX sought to help ensure that Trump would have a Republican majority both in the House and Senate to make certain that construction of the wall would proceed. Political boost CEMEX donations have given Trump in the long run, there's no indication that the favor was returned in any type of play arrangement. However, it is interesting to note that Newt Gingrich, who supported a tariff which negatively CEMEX in the 1990s, was not offered a senior position on Trump's staff. The relationship between CEMEX and the United States is a perfect illustration of Donald Trump's deal-making diplomacy. With a shrewd eye for business, Trump is able to pick out valuable regional players and encourage partnerships which will not only benefit the United States and deliver on his campaign promises, but also help inject capital into the foreign firms and boost employment rates across their nations. The media on both sides of the border will likely continue to cast shadows on the likelihood of a wall and a Mexican-American agreement funded. But as evidenced by CEMEX's rising fortunes and willingness to reach out and assist Trump financially and politically, Trump's New Deal is one that nobody wants to refuse. The article that I have for you, there's two URLs that go with this, and the first one is the off of the Federal Election Commission, and it is the letter that Trump sent, and it says, name of committee in full, Donald J. Trump for President Incorporated. And it says, it's to the Processing Division of the Federal Election Commission. And it says, to whom it may concern, while this does not constitute a formal announcement of my candidacy for the 2020 election, because I have reached the legal threshold for filing FEC Form 2, please accept this letter as my Form 2 for the 2020 election in order to ensure compliance with the Federal Election Campaign Act, C 52 U.S.C. 30102E1, 11 CFR 100.3A1. Sincerely, Donald J. Trump. And the article that goes with this, with the FEC for 2020 election bid, outmaneuvers nonprofit organizations. It says a document from the Federal Elections Commission, FEC, indicates that Donald Trump took steps last week to outmaneuver nonprofit organizations, leaving them unable to officially campaign against him over the next few years of his presidency. Filed on January the 20th of 2017, the letter states that while not an official announcement for re-election, Donald Trump has filed an FEC Form 2 in order to ensure compliance with the Federal Election Campaign Act. This is an unprecedented move for a president to make. Barack Obama did not file for his 2012 re-election bid until April of 2011, having filed, even if not formally announcing a bid, as a candidate. Trump would be able to coordinate with PAC and other similar organizations. More importantly, 501c3 nonprofit organizations would no longer be able to engage in political speech, which could theoretically affect the results of the 2020 U.S. presidential election without running the risk of losing their nonprofit status. The move effectively bars interest groups from creating nonprofits which they could funnel money into for the purpose of opposing Trump's initiatives. This will likely create chaos for political opponents of Trump. Soros, who has sunk significant amounts of money into various nonprofit groups with the intent of opposing Trump's government. How 501c3 organizations will comply with the FEC's regulations when participating in action which qualifies political speech remains to be seen. The move is consistent with Trump's campaign promises to reduce the financial influence of private special interest groups in Washington. So there you have that information. If you like what I'm doing here, give it a thumbs up, share it on your social media so everybody gets to hear the news. Don't forget to subscribe so you stay informed, and I'll have more episodes for you this morning.